What is here is a good question. Who are we? And if so, how many? Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode 5 of Blood Moon Rising, the Great American Witch, with our Coven, and with me, the guide. I'm Lydia, I'm half-arsed hermit, and I am here to figure out what on earth is going to happen in the background while these four witches are trying to find themselves, find each other, and basically keep this little town of Sears Rest going, running, keep all the people within alive, and protect those that need protecting. Of course, we also have some help. We have help from our sponsors. Each and every week we play their games and we are having a great time. I'm either teching half of them or playing or GMing in them, and I get to see so many wonderful, wonderful systems and wonderful stories being told with the help of these folks. Links are in chat, or hi if you're watching on YouTube, right underneath. Today, of course, is The Great American Witch by Christopher Gray, but we also have the New Advent Chronicles on Tuesday. Fucking amazing cosplay with lovely, lovely people by Broken Dice. They really bring their A game with this sort of piratey, slightly sci-fi fantasy type setting. We have Black Void Games, Black Void, of course, Into Oblivion's Depths on Wednesday, GM'd by my good friend Colin, who is absolutely fantastic, and his crew is wonderful as well. We just had a real tearjerker episode last week. We have a double whammy on Thursdays with Mighty Narwhal's Mora, the Ravenwood Academy. Mitch is GMing that one, and it's another group of witches, some more Coven sisters in our case. They're slightly more whack, I would say. It's a little bit weird, it's a little bit wild, but always hilarious. And then, of course, in the evening, Anna is GMing Parslings by Smunchy Games. Little parasites, little, I don't want to call them parasites. They are almost symbiotic, but we're about to find out whether that's still something our cast really wants. They live in your brain and they give you words, and these words have power. And on Friday, we are at the moment running a couple of one-shots because we did finish Nibiru. We had a 3-parter that was sponsored by Arcana Media. That can be found on YouTube if you want to, but there will be more coming soon. Maybe some Defiant, maybe some Tachyon Squadron. Who knows? I do, and I just told you. And of course, Saturday is Tripper's Game, Evil Hat Production, Fate of Cthulhu, The Return of Carcosa, which I'm guesting on next week, and I'm looking forward to bringing some time travel shenanigans to that. We also have 2 affiliate links for you if you need your coffee to stay awake on a Monday after a heavy weekend of drinking, or is that just me? Then you might want to check out Grinding Coffee. And if you need your dice hoard, let's be honest, we all have dice hoards, right? If you need those extended, check out Dice Dungeons, and with the codes Penny for a Tale, you get a little bit of a discount there. We get some kickback, and everyone is happy. Now, that being said, let's look over to our Coven, look over to our witches, and if you want to introduce yourself and your characters and how your character is doing at the moment, let's start with Alessa. How's Naneshka? How are you?
I am tired, and so is she. Hi everyone, my name's Alyssa at Alyssa Vamp. Today I will be playing Naneshka, one of our resident Hecate witches, and she's very sleep deprived, very sleep deprived. But you know, they're just brushing it off.
Yeah, the healthy way of dealing with your problems. Just ignore them until they go away, especially after not having slept for 3-4 nights, maybe. Yeah, that's gonna not come back to kick them in the face. Marcus was part of those nightmares that keep Naneshka awake. How is Marcus feeling about that and his own demons, and how are you doing, Rindis?
I'm doing great. I'm Rendis of Party White Games. I'm playing Marcus, of course, of the Hecate Witches. He's probably doing the best because he doesn't know what Neshka saw, and he had a pretty good close to his night, all things considered. He indulged Jake in more ways than one last week. So he's probably the best he's felt in a while.
There was some indulging, yeah, definitely. Not to go into too great detail, but things got steamy. Thanks for that, Renders. Thanks. D, how are you doing today, and how is
I don't
Anati?
see that. If I don't see that gift, I'm going to be disappointed by somebody. Sorry, D. Go ahead.
No, you're completely fine. Hi, I'm D. I will be playing Anati Rossford, who had a semi-tumultuous end of session last game, and it was great. A great time.
You had your past come back to bite you, and not in the fun
Yeah.
way that Marcus was bitten, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. Was there biting involved? Well, we're going to figure out where that continues and where that's going today, of course. The currently most stable one seems to be Sylvie in regards to tumultuous private life, but your legacy, of course, is catching up with you as well. How are you doing, Valdrian?
I'm great. I'm hungry, which is why I was like a second late. I was getting some cheese and some strawberries. But yeah, hi everyone. I'm Val, and today I do bring you Sylvie. She is a sorry, my nose itches. She is of the hag, descendant from Irish witches through her grandmother's side. Yeah, and as far as like Sylvie feels like it's hard to shake her, so, and that's okay. I don't need her to be too shook. Like, so, but she did manage to procure a date with the resident werewolf. Like, she somehow tricked him into like, yes, bring bourbon and we shall drink, and it is a date. So,
see, I was curious about that, whether how Sylvie would view that, because clearly Pino, the resident werewolf, has been able to read the signs, not so much from Sylvie, but from literally everyone else who was doing, let's just say, not too subtle encouraging in the background, especially
she was being as blunt as she possibly could be, with that, without embarrassing him. She didn't want to embarrass him. So, like, but also she will be busy. Yeah, also she's gonna be busy recreating some very, very, very fake werewolf bones, but at the same time, like, you know, she did her job.
Yeah, bones will be involved, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. Where are we in our wonderful town of Seer's Rest? What has happened over the last 4 episodes? Well, currently we have our 4 witches, the new Coven of Seer's Rest, the new generation, trying to work together to figure out what to do with a bunch of werewolf bones. And Sylvie has decided, being an expert in these things, to create a fake skeleton. After all, the Illuminati are after these bones. They found out that a fairly high-ranking Illuminati member is a werewolf himself and is laying claim to these bones. So, best way to do it is just tell everyone, they're fake anyway, here, you can have it. They're good fakes, because obviously Sylvie would never produce something subpar, but that is the current plan of action. With a meeting that is supposed to happen somewhere down the road this week, we can either hop towards that today, or we can do it next episode, depending on what all our witches have planned, but a meeting with Madeline, with Sylvie's cousin. Meanwhile, the other 3 all have their own demons to wrestle with. I mention it briefly. Marcus, of course, having his date night with Jake, the mechanic, but also having to deal with the fact that he sees the life clock of his paramour ticking down much, much faster than it should be. Naneshka hasn't slept in ages, plagued by memories of the past, violent memories of the past, and the souls that had to suffer under those violences are wanting some revenge. And Anati? Is that even her name? Anati had to remember her own painful past a little by little. Still a little bit hazy, I think, but the spirit that was to haunt Anati turned out to be maybe a little bit more than just a spirit. Maybe someone she once knew. Maybe a facet of herself. We're gonna see today. So, we come back the next morning. Jake and Marcus, I'm not sure you slept much, but I'm sure it was relaxing in many ways. How are you and Jake waking up? What is the morning after looking like for you two?
I actually imagine Marcus didn't stay the entire night. Yeah, he probably he probably didn't like leave immediately, but he probably waited until Jake was asleep, and he would have left him a note because it's established that he's basically nocturnal. So, in the evening time, he just heads back to go do his coroner work. But he leaves him a note that basically says, sorry to leave, but I have to get to work, and I'll see you later. So he leaves him a nice message, at least. It is didn't want to wake you on the way out. But he would be back at the coroner's working on something, anything, really, to keep him busy. But he does feel better. He had a good night.
You leave him, and as you look back to his sleeping form, just one more time to check the clock, just one more time to make sure it's not even worse than you thought. Still the same date, the same time. It's coming closer now. The eclipse. The blood moon. And you're still not entirely sure what to do about it. You communicate with the spirit that you conjured up to protect him. It's always there. It's always watching. And you see the spirit like a blanket over Jake's form. And you feel a little bit more relieved, if you will, to leave and to go about your business. Naneshka, meanwhile, had Cassius over to keep her company. What were you talking about all night through, or are you still talking? How did that night go?
Probably still talking. She has prompted him to tell her more of his life stories. Probably starting with, "Hey, were you at the French Revolution?"
I could tell you. Promise me, if you can keep a secret, I'll tell you the bloody details.
Cross my heart and hope to die.
Well, first of all, I was maybe on the wrong side of it. Not my fault. Maybe my fault. I don't know. I had a relapse during those days. The wigs were just wonderful. The outfits. Obviously, you go with the aristocrats.
The wigs. Didn't the wigs get fleas?
What vampire? Not on me. The fleas would starve.
Yeah, but anyway.
The hygiene has certainly improved since, I will give you that. Although it is a common misconception that they never bathed or never washed, just, you didn't have a shower, but there were ways. But it was a fantastic time, if you knew which parties to attend, and which revolutions, which battles. Easy fodder. Lots of personalities. Great, grand, overbearing almost, but always interesting. Humans are so small, yet they make the most of the little time they are given when it matters.
I suppose. Tell me. I can't see you living a non-lavish life, so how does it feel going from French aristocratic life to this?
Well, I get bored quite easily. And unfortunately, it wasn't exactly my choice to stay here, hidden away. I did a couple of things I'm not proud of, I told you. And the one thing I do take seriously is favors owed. Life debts, if you will. Aoife is someone who I owe a lot, more than I can ever really repay. Taking care of Sia's rest is a way of doing so. And given that the outside world is not exactly kind to me and mine, when we follow that lavish lifestyle that we were once used to, it seemed a good trade. And now, of course, I have Stella to take care of. You see his grin being a little bit pained. You probably know that he has never really been the mentor type. You might not be aware of the full details on how that came to be. You would know that Stella is a young vampire, and he's kind of making it up as he goes along, other than keeping her safe and others in her environment safe by having her here, but I'm not sure what you've really talked about beforehand.
Probably basics. I don't think she would have pried had he not want to. But I think at that kind of strained smile, they'll grin and say, parenthood can be difficult, so I've been told.
I never saw myself in that role. Parties, wine, hunts, the fast life. That was for me. But she's a baby practically. She needs someone to show her the ways. Sometimes I'm not sure if I know what those ways are. Sometimes I'm not sure what I'm doing in the first place, but I guess that's all of us. That doesn't get much easier, not even after a good 5 centuries.
Seems like it would get harder. So. Are you happy here?
I am not bored yet. Never thought I could stay at a place like this You're not wrong in your assessment, but it seems all right still. Good company is helping.
I'm sure. I mean, if all this with the werewolves blows up and Seer's Rest is no more, then I guess you're off the hook.
I wouldn't mind a good fight. I haven't really sunken my teeth into... I mean, I wouldn't mind some action every now and then. For a good cause, of course. Not blatant murder, just murder with a cause. Am I helping? I'm not helping, am I?
No. No. It's alright.
When you nodded off earlier, you said a name.
Okay.
Who was that?
What was the name? Oh, you're talking as the guide. I thought you were asking me as Cassius. I was like...
But kind of both. Cassius is asking you, but yes, this is also me as the guide establishing a new sort of thing with your dreams. What name did you murmur?
Tyrion.
Former lover?
No. Far from it. He is Illuminati.
Lovely people.
Very. I've been caught dead. Fucking one if I got paid $1 million.
We could order a lot of booze for the Bad Moon Rising with $1 million.
Yes, but the physical stain would never leave.
So you had a little run-in with them.
I wish it was a little run-in. I think he chased me all the way down here. I was, as you may or may not know, I was a big city gal. New York. Far from here. Chased me all the way down here to Seer's Rest.
What did you do then? What did you do that made a man like that chase you all the way here? Must have been personal.
Oh, you know, you kill a few people and then there's a target on your back.
That does sound familiar. I had a hunter once. Chased me through half the world. Really, really vicious little thing. It was entertaining for a while.
How did that end up? Clearly, you won.
Let's just say we didn't talk it out. It was a long time ago. Journeys took much longer. You'd think it was harder to find someone, but she had ways. A witch as well. I took someone from her, and she didn't take kindly to it. I tend to be glib about these things, but I'm not proud. And I do think about them. All of them. The important ones. Anyway. The strong ones. And what they could have done if I hadn't cut their lives short. What they could have done and brought to this world if I had not soured their life with grief and thirst for revenge. I try not to let it rule my thoughts. There's no use. And perhaps it is a little bit easier for the likes of me to blend out these voices, but every now and then the chorus rises. Every now and then the voices haunt you. And the way you said that name reminded me of it.
I don't know, maybe it was something personal. Maybe I took someone away from them. One of the many voices that I still hear in my sleep. I wish I had hundreds of years to blur them out for a bit. I can't close my eyes or even just sleep for a minute without just... I think they might kill me one day, you know? Soon. Maybe today, tomorrow, who knows? I think that's what they want. We should make a bet. Who
And what
gets
is it?
me first, the voices or the Illuminati?
Well, that glibness I know well. What is it you want?
A nap. Peaceful nap. No dreams, no voices, no visions. Just darkness. Silence. Just for a little bit.
Does your coven know?
They don't ask, they don't tell. They have their own shit to deal with.
Please don't take this as condescending advice of an old man. But the power of a coven is something unparalleled. A single witch can be taken out, snuffed out, in an instant. A single witch can never reach her full potential. The last generation, they fell apart. It was sad to witness. The fragments that remained, the magic within this town has suffered as a result. What remains is nowhere near as beautiful. You four are just starting out. You just got to know each other. A few years? That's nothing. If you cannot speak to them about this, You will break apart sooner than you think. And the Coven will suffer, and the town will suffer.
I can try. I can open up. I can talk to them. I can. Nobody else seems to want to do that. Titi has her secrets, and those are hers to keep. Can't force her. I can just tell her that we're here. Marcus feels too burdened by the visions he could see, the time left for people. Drinks to forget. I don't think I've ever seen him sober. And Sylvie's too focused on her work. Sometimes I think her work means more to her than we do. It's like trying to tie four wild horses together, each trying to go their separate ways. I don't mean this as criticism. It is up to them to deal with their issues how they see fit. Clearly, I'm no beacon of healthy words. Healthy. Whatever. I'm too tired for this. Look, I show up. I do my work. I go to the mortuary. I help them when I can. I don't have anything else to do. So I do that, but I can't help those who won't talk to me. And if they're already dealing with their own problems by themselves, why do they need to deal with mine?
You can help them with theirs. They can help you with yours. But the first step is to talk. Always the hardest, that first step. Can I try something?
Depends.
Look into my eyes. I will try and help you sleep. But it is part of my being, my darker side, that I would have to employ. I will not force you, obviously. It is an offer. And you would have to probably let some of your many, many guards down. Is that something you think you can do?
Maybe. I don't know how many guards I have up at the moment.
First count would say about 17, but
Is there a catch to this?
think of it as hypnosis. Strong hypnosis. I promise I won't make you dance like a chicken or tell you to throw yourself off a cliff. But you'd have to trust me for that, obviously.
They will sit up and turn their body to them. Look at them for a moment, their face. And then she will grab his hand in hers. And looking at him directly in the eyes, she'll say, I trust you.
They smile. And as you look into his eyes, you see within them the eyes of myriad people. The colors are changing slowly. The iris almost dancing with flecks of gold, then shimmering deep blue and turning into a warm brown, almost black, like a well, deeper, deeper. You hear your own breathing slow down. You feel your heartbeat slow down. Who is a person from your past that you trust completely?
Her brother. Older brother. Named Victor.
And you see before you sits Victor. You're much younger. He is much younger. A memory you had almost forgotten from better days. And you're crying because you try to chase down some of the kids of a nearby gang and got hurt in the process. He takes you in his arms. Uncharismatic and characteristic for older brothers, until, of course, it matters. That's when they show you that they care. And you feel cradled, you feel safe, and you feel sleepy. And you fall asleep peacefully for once. Anati. Prudence means wisdom. Again and again and again, you remember that name, that phrase. Where are you now after your radio announcement, after that moment of clarity that is already beginning to cloud over again?
Well, after I was sent waffles this morning by Sylvie, and I dropped a freshly potted plant on Pano's front step, I think Anati is probably in the graveyard. She's not wearing her scarf. She's instead wearing a very big jacket. She has an umbrella. She's wearing her hat. Just trying to not really not be seen, but she's very covered currently. And she's probably just in the graveyard recounting the day and the experience to any spirits who happen to be listening. Even if they don't respond, she still is just in the graveyard talking over recent events, even if only to herself. I don't know. I guess I think what scares me the most is how ready I was to leave when I saw that lady who's apparently Sylvie's cousin, which that's a whole other thing. Don't even get me started on that, but I've done it so many times, I don't know if it's something I should be good at. Be able to disconnect, leave, go somewhere else and start all over again and make new friends and just act like Salt Lake City didn't exist. Act like Phoenix didn't exist. Sears rested. This has always felt different, but I don't know. Marcus has a purpose here. You know what I mean? He runs the mortuary. Sears Rest needs Marcus. Aneshka, she runs the bar. People need Bad Moon Rising. That's the town community center. And then Sylvie, I mean, her family's been having things to do with this coven and this town for hell, I don't even know how long, and I just sweep.
You feel a little bit of vibration from a power that starts next to you. And then a split second later, the body of a cat pressed against yours. You see Reeves, the cat you always knew as someone who was keeping their distance from you. Back when you met Aoife, she obviously told you that Reeves is the family's familiar. Now Sylvie takes care of them, and every now and then they disappear and reappear, as cats are wont to do. But they've never really shown you that level of attention and love.
What are you doing out here? Something wrong with Sylvie?
Cat sits down and looks at you, one ear flicking.
You gonna be difficult? I know that you can talk. No, it's just scritch, scritch, scritch.
Purring starts again. And you see the tail come up. Look at the flowers. Look at what you have created here. Nobody needs these flowers. It's the dead you take care of. They do not need beauty, colors, life. Yet they would be poorer. The town would be poorer without them.
You know, I haven't exactly known a lot of paranormal folk like here in Sears Rest. That's what attracted me here in the first place. There's just so many of us, and
Do you think you're
maybe it's
getting
not a
lost among them?
yeah, but I don't know that it's a bad thing.
Do you want to lose yourself?
I think I already have.
Do you want to find yourself?
Is it cheating if I say I think I already have again? I think I lost someone back in Ohio, and I think I found someone in Utah, and the same when I left Utah and came to New Mexico, and the same when I came to Sears Rest. I think the difference is that I'm not needed here. I'm wanted. And that's different.
No one would argue it's better. But I know humans have strange little conceptions about these things. Some
you don't even
prefer
know
to be
half of
needed.
it.
Some cannot tell the difference between being needed and wanted.
Natsu would like to take off the jacket and put down the umbrella and put her hands into the dirt up to her wrist and just feel the magic of Sears Rest. And she will think to herself, prudence means wisdom. And she'll close her eyes. And I would like to accelerate the blooming process of every seeded plant in the graveyard. and I'll spend a charm on that if I need to.
Yeah. If you spend that charm, you basically can tell me what happens. And if you want to add special effects, if you want to give yourself a meaningful narrative reward or a little boon there, you're welcome to do so.
I think that in the cracks of dirt around headstones and things, many different pods and seeds that are buried beneath the soil intermingle with the nutrients and begin to burst and raise and break through the ground, and it culminates in very different clusters of flowers around every tombstone. And I think that Anati will stand up. She will turn and see Prudence over in the corner watching. Prudence will smile, pick a flower, and put it into her hair. Wisdom. All right, kitty cat. Let's go make sure that Sylvie's not working herself to an early grave. And I will make my way toward Bad Moon Rising in Sylvie's office.
What has been happening for Sylvie? Either for the rest of the night or this morning. I know in the morning you got a natty breakfast and had it brought over by the spirits, but what have you been doing other than just working?
1, she got an excellent night's sleep. 2, she... Am I muted? No, I'm not. Okay. 2,
No.
She, woke up at a decent hour. Probably 6 o'clock. Made herself coffee, waffles, or pancakes. Forget which one. And began her work. And probably, last time she was in town, I suppose, she's at a record store and a new album to put into her player. It's just Black Sabbath's debut album, not a big issue. Like, decided to learn metal genre is here in the late 70s. And is playing that as she is beginning to, the first step to fake bones is to make a cast of the real one. So she's very carefully casting out, like, she cleaned the bones first, and then properly and safely so as to not to fuck with them. And then she began, putting the plaster around the skeletons to begin making her cast in the morning. This is probably, by the time she's got to that point, it's probably like 10 a.m.
Mm-hmm. Is that when you have Pino come over as well, or is that evening? What was the plan for that?
I think she was she'll let him come over whenever it feels like. She did not specify a time. So he can come over whenever he feels like. It is late spring, early summer. She's probably got her door open to her shop just because for some decent airflow. Mm-hmm. AC is a thing, but not central AC. But in the morning and in the evenings especially, the desert tends to be cooler, so she lets that cool air come into her house while she's working, especially considering how warm a kill can be.
Yeah. I think that it's probably Anati will actually come over before Pino. So I'll just wait till D has their headphones back on. D, I think Anati will actually be over at Sylvie's before Pino, because Pino tends not to get up before 3 p.m.
Good.
If you want to
Fair.
join Sylvie in her workshop.
Anati will just open the door because knocking is for other people.
It was already open to let in the morning air.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And she will walk in and say, smells weird in here.
I farted.
And she will just chuckle a little and go,
Good morning.
and she would just run over to Sylvie and give you a very, very tight hug.
So he's gonna hold her arms up like this because she's covered in plaster, and let Anati hug her, and sort of manipulate her arms in a way to not get anything on her, but like pat the top of your head. Are you all right?
Not yet, but I will be.
Do you need any help with something?
No, in fact, I am here to see if you need my help with anything.
An assistant? Well then. Just kinds of looks around with like plaster. Well, you can begin to set my kill, please, if that is fine. I should be very close to putting these. Well, I don't need the kill, actually. You know what? Could you go into my house and procure me a wet towel?
Edinatu will just for as however long Sylvie works up until when Pina gets there, Anatu will excuse herself inexplicably. But until then, Anatu
Even before even before Pino gets there, like with Anati there, because it's kind of like in the late morning, and you know, Sylvie is wrapping up the plaster work for the mold, and the mold just doesn't want to put it in the kiln because she doesn't want to ruin bones. So she's letting it sit in the dry heat of the desert instead. She will, with the wet towel, wipe herself off, like her hands, and be like, I have gotten stuck in my plaster before. It is not fun. However, I always forget to wear gloves. But it's fine. This is fine. She just... Do you want to go get lunch?
Sure. I'm not intruding on your guest, am I?
I did not specify a time for him to arrive. So if he shows up here, he has a very good nose. He would know where to find me.
All right. And I will accompany Sylvie to get lunch.
This entire town is walkable. Like,
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, we're good. Do we want to get... Yeah.
Sure.
All right. Let's go gather them then. She's in a very chipper mood.
So it is lunchtime, and Marcus, you would all probably know that I'm guessing that the Bad Moon Rising is your get together for various food times.
Yeah.
Unless you want to head to a different kind of diner or place.
Sylvie has lunch at Bad Moon Rising at exactly 12:30 every day on time.
Oh my god. I can so see that.
Yes.
Naneshka, you wake up without remembering any dreams. You remember looking into Cassius's eyes and then feeling calm. And you wake up still held by Cassius, who hasn't moved in you don't quite know how long. And is just sort of staring into the distance.
You could have left. I didn't mean to.
I had a very important job to do as a pillow.
A very fine pillow you make.
Now, I will have to return, see if Stella's actually in her coffin. It's also light outside already, so if you... Are you okay? Are you feeling better?
Yeah, yes, I'm feeling better. Am I okay? No. I feel better.
Well, it's the first step. If you...
Thank you.
Always. If you need my help again, let me know. I appreciate that you trusted me with this. It's been a while that I've used that part of my personality for something like this.
Thank you for not telling me to go walk off a cliff.
I may have done the chicken thing, though, and you will never know if I did.
Damn it.
I did. I need a Polaroid next time. He, with a little bit of joking and some stretching after he gets up, he will excuse himself and leave. You can tell it's about lunchtime. You would know that both Marcus and Sylvie are usually at the Bad Moon Rising there. It's not your shift today, I think. Give you some space for that, but if you want to join them.
I feel like she wouldn't remember that it's not her shift. As she looks at the clock, it's like 12:25, and she's like, "Oh fuck, Sylvie's lunch." And she just kind of gets up, puts on clothes, deodorant. Even though they slept, they probably still have like dark circles under their eyes. They throw on some like aviators, and then go out the door, lock the door, unlock the door, come back in, call Cerberus, have him come out, lock the door again, and just make their way to the to Batman Rising.
Yeah. So we'll reconvene right there. Marcus, are you joining as well, or would you like to do something else in between before?
Marcus is joining them.
Okay. You come in with... what was her name again? The girl that's also working at the bar, that's sort of
The changeling
on the
girl?
periphery of the coven. Yeah. I have the name
It's in our
somewhere,
Google
but I don't
Docs.
remember it.
Layla?
Yes. Thank you.
Was I right?
I don't know. I'll check. But she's there, and you run into her as you barge in. You're like, "Oh, everything okay? You look slightly... You know, it's not your shift, Naneshka.
Right. What day is it?
Wednesday.
Thanks, Leia. Okay, right. Well, I'm here.
You don't look so great. That's rude to say, I'm sorry, but...
It's fine. I don't. I'm used to bluntness.
Marcus is already in his spot. So, the usual?
Yes. You're amazing.
Thanks. You see Marcus in the usual corner booth. What are you having, Marcus? How have you been feeling?
He's good right now, so he probably just has something light. It's probably just a beer out of off the tap. Keeping it simple this early.
Is Marcus one of those people that... Because, you know, sometimes... I just know some friends of mine, I'm not going to name you. You can tell when they got laid. You can just tell. Is Marcus one of these people?
I think it's obvious for Marcus because it's not something they see normally. And TT definitely will zero in on it. It's like, something's different about you. And he probably it's because he's smiling. And like it might be that like, what's wrong with Marcus? What is that going on with his face?
What is that with your... What is...
Yeah. And he just says, "Oh, you know, it's nothing. Good night for me."
You got boned, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. I figured stringing him along kind of served its purpose at this point. There wasn't any real reason to deny the boy.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of leans into TT and is just like, yeah, it was good.
Mm-hmm. And she will just give Marcus a little nudge and say, I love you guys.
I love you too.
And when she says it this time, it's a lot less sad than when she said it before. It sounds more sure.
Love you too, TT.
Of course, TT. We all love you.
She'll squint at Naneshka and say, why you look like you just rolled out of bed?
Because I just rolled out of bed.
It's Wednesday.
I've been told.
Usually when it's Wednesday, those are the days that you actually sleep somewhat.
I slept somewhat.
Mm.
She still has the aviators on.
I was literally, the next thing that
Yeah.
it says is, let me see you without the shades, Knight Rider. I don't know if
But I look
actually
so
make
hot
that
in
reference
them.
at this time, but
Okay, I think that was totally a show. Hold on, I'm gonna check on it.
okay.
But I look so hot in them.
Nazi goes, I don't disagree, but I like my nanny unfiltered.
She will take the sunglasses and just put them on top of their head.
Mm-hmm.
I was saving you from this.
And she will go up, and if Nadeshka lets her, she will just give her a peck on the cheek and say, "You look gorgeous." All right, everybody sit down, and I'm imposing a new rule. No funny business, no mentions of secret organizations or dark paths. We're just going to sit down and have lunch. Everybody in favor, say aye.
A hell of a rule. I'm not inclined to object.
I'm
Aye.
just
Aye.
confused. Are you expecting people to reveal dark secrets of secret organizations at lunch?
TT, we never talk
There's-
about our dark past with each other.
There's a new song coming on.
Go ahead.
There's
Yeah.
a new song coming on the jukebox. Oh, mama, I'm in fear for my life from the long arm of the law. Long
All right.
man has put an end to my running, and I'm so far from my home.
Everyone just like looks at the jukebox and then turns
Yeah.
and looks at Anati because the jukebox is never wrong. Like,
Just
got it
eyebrow
after
raise.
lunch if that's what you want.
I think the jukebox says otherwise.
Well, that jukebox can shut its goddamn mouth because we're just going to have a nice lunch and we will talk about it later.
Okay.
All right, but we do all need to talk. I will say that.
Of course. Absolutely. I think that's a good idea.
Okay.
The plaster is setting right now. I expect it to be dry by tomorrow, and I will then begin to make my mold. Well, put
Ah.
I'm looking over at Marcus. Hopefully, you can procure me some materials, and I should be able to start making the bones.
So you've been doing a different type of boning.
Yes, I have not had intercourse in about 6 months.
Aren't you supposed
That
to
is
meet up with Kano
unfortunate.
today?
I would die.
Some people don't
well.
need it to survive.
No, now that it's on the table, let's hear it, TT. How long? Naneshka, how long?
What? Me?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like a month or so? Maybe 2. I don't know what day it is. No, wait.
It's
I was told
Wednesday.
it was Wednesday.
It's Wednesday.
It's
What about you,
I
TT?
assure you,
in-
sex is the least of my worries right now.
It's been a while, so 5 days?
Yep, that's definitely a while.
I think. Listen, it's a while for me. I am very active.
Marcus isn't going to tell anyone that it's been a while for him too before this night.
Yeah.
But
No?
he gets to
No,
put
just
that
gonna look at
day
him.
since getting laid 0 up.
Don't act all secure.
Does everyone have their own?
And actually, I'll give you your charm back if you tell me who.
Put the name of any willing allosexual in a hat and draw from it. From the town.
Did you say owl sexual?
Allosexual.
Allosexual.
Anyone who's not.
Oh,
on the
okay. I heard
spectrum.
owl, and I was like, "What is going on in this '70s town?"
Yeah. Anyone who's not asexual and anyone who is on the ace spectrum that would be willing. And I'd just like, hey.
I mean, you know the NPCs we have, but you're welcome to make some up. I'm basically asking that who is
Isn't so.
because everyone has a little bit of a direction we're going at the moment, and Anati has lots of possible directions. So
That's true. Let me find their
tell
name,
me what
'cause I
you
do have
want, what
some
you
in
really,
mind.
really want. Oh, tell me what you want, what you really, really want.
It would have been most recently. It would have been. Oh God, why can I not find her name? It would have been Stella most recently.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Does she
Yeah.
bite?
Anati won't mention
If you,
that unless asked. But
if you want that charm, you, I would like for Anati to, if not mention her by name, mention a
most
clue that would give it
recently-
away to, especially Marcus, because I want to see the reaction there.
I mean, most recently, it was a nice little rose. Sweet. She was sweet. A little inexperienced, but went to college.
Do we
Don't
see
tell
bite
us by
marks?
You wouldn't. You wouldn't see the bite marks. No. But yeah.
Did we lose you there for a second, Renus? Did you hear that?
I was
'Cause
just
wasn't sure if
laughing,
your camera was
muted.
frozen.
No,
Ah,
no.
okay.
Am I still here? No, I was just laughing.
Yeah,
yeah.
muted.
Good. So you might be able to infer from that Anati's talking about, possibly Stella. You do remember seeing them getting quite close in the bar after a few drinks a few weeks back, or days back.
Tell me, TT. Was it bloody?
Mhm. Well, I didn't want to get her too excited,
Gross.
but she was a little skittish. She didn't seem like she was too used to. I don't think that she had been with a femme person before. But she seems like a quick learner, so.
I feel like Natasha's having like flashbacks to Cassius being like, I gotta teach her new ways of life.
Yeah.
She a good baker. Hmm?
I think that was towards Anati.
Oh, what was the question? Sorry.
She a good baker.
Well, I don't want to go too much further into detail because, I don't want to say anything that she might not be comfortable with me mentioning. So,
I respect that. I respect that.
we had a fine evening and morning, and a bit of afternoon.
Well, as long as you both had fun.
But speaking of which, so you're going to have a visitor here soon, Miss Ma'am. Sort of fingers interlocked, staring at Sylvie.
Yes, we drinking whiskey. I told him to bring bourbon.
Just drinking.
Well, it's to loosen him up, just in case I intimidate him sexually.
That makes sense, not going to lie.
Yeah. He talks a big
Otherwise,
game, but
expect a decent mounting.
I think you.
Have you been with him before, Anati?
Only twice.
Mm. Should I know anything
Yeah.
about his preferences?
Just like give him a good scritch, like right up here. Breath play, stuff like that.
I see. Okay. That would not be offensive. I don't want to treat him as if he is some sort of pet.
That's why he's very shy and he doesn't really like to ask for that. So I kind of had to pick up on
I
that
see.
just intuitively.
I see. I will be sure to take things at his pace.
Good idea. You know, men like to think they're
So are
in
you
control.
telling me that he is a bottom?
Yes. Pretty
Understandable.
definitively, yeah.
I feel like
Okay.
Naneshka just choked on her drink.
Marcus isn't
I will
surprised.
certainly redo my approach on this then. And she's just gonna eat a French fry as she's like thinking to the side.
Just redoing plans.
Is he a bottom or is he a service top? There's difference.
I mean, I've only been with him twice, so we didn't really get into any of the nitty gritty too heavily. But he's good at, an order here or there. So I'm sure he could be serviceable.
I am flexible. I believe they call those a flip.
Nope, a switch.
switch?
Close though.
Yes, that is the term.
Flip would be cute. Maybe I'll start using that.
Are you a flip?
At this point, you hear a. Go for it, D.
No, go ahead. You got it.
You hear a clattering as Leia drops a glass. Sorry. Keep going.
That's kind of.
You right there, Leia? Need any help?
Sure?
Your food's right up. And you see
You
her
see
big bright red. Absolutely.
The absolute most devious expression come onto Anati's face as she just like in maybe 3 steps is over to Leia and it's just like, well, you don't want to cut yourself. Let me help you out with that.
Don't
Oh.
hope for
And
too
just
much.
like
We'll never get
it's
our
going
food.
it's going to be just very blatant like romantic comedy. Their hands touch when they go for the same piece of broken glass.
I have been warned about you, Anati. I think by yourself in a very drunken moment, so...
Darling, you
What are
can
you
be ready
doing?
for a spank. You can be ready for a spank as much as you want to. It's still gonna hit you.
Oh, are we doing this with rolls, or are we just doing... Is this... this
Anati
where we
is
start?
Do
just-
a fringe roll. Do a fringe
Anati-
roll.
Yeah.
Anati
like-
is just trying to like restore her life energy off of how much this young changeling blushes at the comments.
I'm just basically thinking, like, how can we make these rolls into deciding by the
Seduce
rolls
rolls?
what where I don't like seduce rolls, but where all the NPCs fall in the spectrum of brat service jobs, which the various roles in that regard is there.
Oh, I feel
No.
like Leia would
So-
definitely be a brat.
I think so too.
Can
So
we establish now Pino's a power top?
I thought
Can
we
we
just
he's a
had
establish
Pino
now?
at the bottom.
Oh, Pino's a bottom? Oh, I missed that. Darn.
Yeah, power bottom, service top.
There we go. He's a good boy.
Where was
Don't
Jake?
tell him that to his face. Ah.
Or Duke?
Jake probably thought he was a top, and then Marcus took over.
I know these kind. I mean, yeah.
Best game ever.
This is for after stream. I'll tell you later. But Leia is taking a step back. Well, you know you have to work for it.
Well, of course, darling. That's one of my specialties. And Anati will sort of like just look at her hands that still have dirt under the fingernails and on the hands. Like, I have no problem getting my hands dirty.
Well, your mind's already there. Clearly.
Ma'am, I take that as a personal offense. I simply came over here to help clean up an unfortunate accident of a glass shattering.
You missed a shard over there.
And Anati will just very slowly turn to pick up the shard, and then will take it and sort of like knife walk it along her fingers and go, here.
Thank you. She looks...
And then Anati, go ahead, yeah.
She looks like a quick look to the table, because she considers Naneshka to be her boss, and Sylvia and Naneshka being kind of running the bar mainly, and she's kind of helping out. So she looks over to see whether you two are kind of paying attention or not, and whether she already took it too far, and she just remembers herself.
There's just a thumbs up from Naneshka.
Well, you certainly deserve a thanks.
Leia, why don't you go take your break? I'm already here. I might as well take over while you take your break.
And
she blushes
Anati
again
will
and
offer her hand and say, she'll only need 15 minutes.
Going for the click.
awfully presumptuous. But she takes her hand anyway.
And they disappear into the back. And then Anati will run back in with plates of food, go, here you go, and then run back into the back.
You know where the Lysol is, correct?
Yep.
Good job.
Wonderful. Hold on. We need more NPCs for Anati to seduce, I guess, throughout the next couple of episodes. I need to make a note of that. The remaining
Still haven't
three.
met Kai and Miller, eh? Like,
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
The remaining three. How are you proceeding from here? Anati had asked for any serious topics to be postponed, seemed to be deflecting pretty much everything.
She was the one who wanted us to sit for lunch, and she skipped straight to dessert.
Do any of you have any dark secrets you wish to confide in us while she is gone? We have 14 minutes.
That's true.
13 minutes and 53 seconds.
I don't think so. Nothing that comes to mind.
No, she just has a mouthful of food.
Huh, well, I can't think of anything of dark in my past. I had a rather... No?
Not necessarily about dark past, but I didn't want us to talk about us and the coven and this whole Illuminati situation.
All right.
Not sure if I should wait for TT to be back.
Uh,
But yeah, listen, we need to prioritize. I'm still very tired. Words do not function. We need to
do you
prioritize
want
the
some
town.
coffee?
She has like 3 cups of empty coffee next to her. I'll take some more.
Okay. Just levitates the coffee pot over.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or not even levitate. You just see like little like dust sprites just like bringing over the coffee pot.
Nashka says thank you to the sprites. We can Squishes one. Listen, we could potentially be into the shitstorm with the Illuminati at the moment, and I've already had my run-in with them before. Serious rest. And we need to make sure our people are protected, and we need to make sure that we as a coven don't falter. And I don't think we know each other that well.
Ah. So you are concerned that we are not strong enough in our bonds to properly protect the town because of not deep, dark secrets.
It's not just about the deep, dark secret. It's about caring for the other, not running away at the slightest hint of trouble, or those dark past coming up.
Someone wants to run away?
Oh, I don't know. That's the thing. We don't talk. If someone did want to or want to leave, we wouldn't know. I don't want us to fall apart like the last coven. I may not be from Sears Rest, and I don't have the history some of you do with Sears Rest, but this is my home. And I protect these people. And they are mine to protect. And so are you.
Of course.
I'm
But
in agreement.
What would you like
of
to talk
course.
about then?
To be honest, I didn't think I'd get this far. I don't know. Why don't we wait for TT? I'll finish my lunch in the next 9 minutes and 47 seconds.
Ooh. The siblings and I used to play games of 20 questions all the time. Perhaps we can play 20 questions with each other. Make it a game so that it doesn't seem so intimidating.
That actually sounds like a good idea.
We can have shots.
I'm always for
Right.
shots.
Just don't let me get blackout drunk.
Absolutely not. We will hydrate you as well.
Thank you.
We did just get that order of sports drinks to help with the electrolytes that you lose during drinking.
That's right, we did.
Crocodile Aid, I believe it's called.
Gatorade?
Yes.
Crocodile.
It was the one sponsored by that college in Florida. I think it is Gator.
Yeah, I think that's what they have.
Just
'Cause
kind of
there's a
shakes my
difference
head.
There's a difference between gators and crocodiles. Gators have like
Hmm.
a round mouth. Crocodiles have a pointed mouth. And I think gators
Yes.
are bigger.
The largest crocodilian is the crocodilian out of Australia, followed by the Nile crocodile. Alligators are only found in America, but there is a crocodile that's in Florida that is almost to extinction. Other
A Nazi
crocodilians
will
living are
burst back in
camions.
from the back
It's-
door and go, "Time."
Oh, hi, Nadi.
4
We're gonna
minutes
play a game
and
of 20
35
questions.
seconds.
Hot damn, I'm good.
The personal best for you, isn't it?
With a fam, it's pretty close. And she will make her way back to the table and sit down.
Did you clean your hands?
Excuse me. I know how to be sanitary. I just, often choose
Do we
not
need the
to.
mop and bucket?
No, it's Naneshka's day off. She doesn't have to clean up. And Anati will just raise a finger and will drink an entire beer stein worth of water and would go. All right, I heard something about gators.
Oh,
A
I
minute
was just
later,
trying to
Leia
pass
comes
by.
We're
in,
just-
slightly
yeah.
disheveled,
Make sure to
and
disinfect.
resumes her work as usual. And blushes again, and then just goes back to work in the back of the kitchen, hoping that in 10 minutes this is not going to be as awkward as she feels it is right now. Her cheeks are flushed, eyes a little bit glistening. Some activity was had, clearly. Several times,
Nobody else.
maybe.
Nobody else bring it up. Let the poor girl work.
Yes.
Oh, but we're playing
So,
20 questions.
yes. Let us make some rules for this game of 20 questions. Now, Sylvie is fucking into it. She's gonna be like, it can be a person, place. This person, place, or thing should be something that is important to our past, so that when we figure it out, we can be told and share why it is important to us. How does that sound?
Sounds good. I think before they start, Nana's just gonna give the same spiel to Anati that she gave the others.
Hmm. Now she knows why we're playing 20 questions.
But she'll be serious,
Okay.
and I think Anati will definitely be able to tell that it's important to her.
Okay, I can do that.
She'll just place a kiss on Anati's the side of her head.
So, who's going first?
Looks like Rindis froze.
So, not Marcus.
Not Marcus.
I think you're muted, Lydia.
Just to let you know, Rindis has been having some tech gremlins, but he'll be back with us shortly, I'm sure. Just keep going. If not, I'll get him updated on Discord.
Well, I brought up the whole getting to know each other, so I'm not going first. Well, I'm not asking first, at least.
Well, why don't you pick your thing first, and we will ask the questions, and you give us yes or no answers.
Okay. Place. Um, I don't know how this works.
Well, we'll pretend that Marcus went to the bathroom. How about between me and Anadi, it's 20 questions, so we each get 10, and we just take turns guessing. How does that sound, Anadi?
Sounds good to me.
All right. I'll ask first. There's
Oh, look,
Marcus.
Marcus is back
So
from the
instead, 3.
bathroom.
Yeah.
Perfect.
All right. Place.
Just in time.
Mm-hmm. All right. Place located in the continental United States.
Yes.
Okay.
I missed the rules. Can you give me the quick and dirty?
We're just like taking turns. So, like Nanashka said that it's a place for them, is an important place to them, and we're guessing asked question, which is if it's in the continental United States, and they say
Oh,
yes.
Okay, we're doing 20
Now that
questions,
you,
right?
All right. Let me see here. Does the place have good memories attached to it?
Yes and no.
Okay. Marcus?
Was this somewhere connected to your family?
Yes.
Is this place colder than New Mexico?
Yes.
Did you used to call this place home?
Yeah.
Did you have to leave it suddenly?
Yes.
Is this place a city?
Yes.
Hmm. Do you wish you could go back?
No.
Pass. Move on to the next one.
That's not how this works.
I don't have an idea. What can I say? Um, it's a place. Oof. Did we already do states?
It is in the continental
No.
United States, yes.
Is it somewhere adjacent to New Mexico?
No.
Is this place above the Mason-Dixon line?
I personally don't know what that is, but yes, I think so. I'm gonna say yes.
Google it. All right. That was question 10.
Mason-Dixon
Yes,
line
it
is
is.
what divides Maryland and Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yes, it is. I was correct though.
Oh, it's gotta be yes or no questions.
Naneshka just looks at the jukebox for a moment and then looks back to y'all.
Smoke on the water.
Are you from... Is the place Salt Lake City?
No.
Is it... Oh, gosh. You've thrown me for a loop with this Mason-Dixon nonsense. Is it near the Great Lakes?
Is it near what?
The Great Lakes. Because technically the line extends.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sylvie taps her nose and thought, is this place famous for its pizza?
Yes.
Is it Chicago?
No.
Darn.
Are you from Ohio?
No. Would y'all
That's
like
what,
a hint?
question 13?
I would love a hint.
Yes.
I'm terrible at guessing games.
They will put their elbow on the table and with a quick motion they will wave their hand and then put it out again, and in her hand is an apple, and she'll put it down on the table.
Oh.
Apples are grown in Washington. Oh. So he's gonna look over at Marcus because it's clearly your turn and she's not gonna overstep her boundaries, but there's a look on her face that's just like, I know.
In stark contrast, Anati went, oh, and looks completely
Marcus will cheat and go, is it something Sylvie will be able to figure out?
Yeah.
Good.
Is it New York?
Yeah.
Famous for its pizza, just not dipped. Deep dish.
No, not deep dish.
Oh, it's in New York.
You don't sound like people I've met from New York. I mean, the attitude is definitely...
I'm walking here. Is that what you want?
I mean, it would make me happy occasionally if you could say that, yes.
Okay, I'll occasionally say that in that accent.
So, Naneshka, why is New York City important to you?
So I'm from where I grew up. It's where I discovered what it was. It's where my family was. It's where I fucked up.
What did you fuck up with?
I don't know if you guys can tell that I sometimes have anger issues. I
Mm.
kind of let that boil over at one point. I was really young. I didn't have a full grasp on my powers, and I quite literally blew up. And people died.
I see.
And
It's
I
like you need to make up for.
don't think I ever will be able to. The only way I could make up for it is letting those ghosts have the revenge that they want.
Mhm.
Mm.
Can't have that.
It's the reason
Well-
for
Revenge is not.
And she'll point to like the
Yeah.
dark circles under her eyes.
Revenge is not going to put these souls to rest. Peace will. Revenge does not bring peace. Perhaps
Fuck, please tell
soon
them
we
that.
can. Oh, would you like me to?
I mean, you can give it. I don't even know if they're actually. I don't know if they're just in my head, or I try to tell them that I was like, oh, go into the light, find peace and all that. But yeah, I can't sleep without them fucking with me.
Hmm.
Last time I had a nightmare and Marcus was there. You were really rude. And I punched
Oh.
you to death.
That's ominous. Am I normally nicer in your dreams?
I don't usually remember my dreams,
Oh.
which is why this is weird. I'm sure you're nice in them.
I was just fishing to see if you dream about me.
I like you, but I don't like you like
Finger
that.
guns to TT.
Dew is very much smiling, and she'll sort of slide a hand over to Nuneshka's and say, well, if it makes you feel better, if you've only fucked up in one state, I've got you beat.
I'm sure I fucked up in other states. I did go to Florida once, though, so that's why I knew about the gators. I don't like it there. It's humid.
We do prefer a dry heat here in New Mexico.
Yes.
However, Naneshka,
Anyway,
thank you for telling us, because I believe this is a solvable problem if we, as a coven, work together on it. And I mean, if it means we get to go to New York, I don't see a problem at all.
I've been in
So,
seamstress.
out of characterly, Sylvie has never been past, like, the furthest east that she has been is probably Tulsa, Oklahoma. And the furthest west that she has been is, like, Phoenix. She's not traveled much in her life. Like,
I don't know if we'll have to go as far as going to New York. And you see that the notion of going back to New York has her all like nervous. I'm in seer stress for my own protection, and I feel like leaving seer stress is gonna, especially because now we're dealing with the Illuminati, and again, and there's one after me. I don't know if they still are. But
Our
that's why I
biggest
had to
concern
leave.
with the Illuminati right now is that we have something that they want. And hopefully our intentions of giving them what they think that they want will put us off the radar, so to speak, for
So
a time being.
about that. Um,
Is it your turn? You want to go?
I, I guess so. We don't need to do the game bit.
Look up disappointed.
I might also be something the Illuminati wants.
Hey, twinsies!
They had me at some point, somewhere cold. I don't really remember it. Uh, Lots of linoleum, bright lights, almost like a hospital. I don't remember much. To be honest, I didn't really remember my name. I just remembered everything's fragmented. Anati was the most I could piece together from the word. And I just remember walking down a highway barefoot and seeing a sign that said, "Welcome to Rossford." So, not to Rossford. Uh, so they might not be off our backs so easily. I mean, if it comes down to it, obviously I'll go with them rather than have them storm the
No, you're
Seer's
not.
Rest or anything like that. But
You're not. You're not going with them.
well, I went a lot of places after Ohio. I went to Salt Lake for a while, and that's where I realized I could do things, and magic, some part of it just felt right. And I made a lot of friends. You can do that when you can get people whatever they want and feed into their hedonism. But eventually I left Utah, and then I went to Phoenix, and I milled around Arizona in general for a bit before I had to leave there too. And eventually I came here and found this little place. And Afa, she found me and taught me
TT, we're not gonna let them get their hands on you.
It's a nice sentiment, but Seer's Rest is bigger than me. It's bigger than us
You
as a
are
coven.
part of Seer's Rest. You are, as a coven. And she looks to everyone. We need to protect each other and the town. And TT, you are part of Seer's Rest. You are part of this coven. This is your home.
Yeah.
No one's taking you away from it. She's gonna give Anati a really big hug. I won't let them touch your warm, pretty little hair on your head.
Thank you.
None of us will. And I feel comfortable saying that about our group. God knows I know Sylvia and Marcus can kick some ass.
I can be quite intimidating.
Yeah, you don't say. Speaking of which, Miss Ma'am,
Yes.
I think it's your turn.
Oh. I have seen a phoenix.
Pardon?
I have seen a phoenix.
Right. I mean, I heard you, love. I was just hoping for a bit more explanation.
Yes. You see, Kai and I were out hiking. In Milleray, we were all out hiking in the wilderness, near the Four Corners area. We did some peyote, and we saw a phoenix.
Mm,
I think that tracks.
well, it certainly, I definitely believe that you saw a phoenix after taking peyote and wandering
Yep.
into the desert. Yeah.
Yeah, that tracks.
Allow me to clarify. We confirmed our findings when we were sober.
Ah.
Okay. Well, that's okay. That's different.
We just happened to meet the phoenix while we were high.
Gotcha.
It talked while we were high, did not talk when we were sober.
Yeah.
All right. This is slowly becoming a more and more believable story as more
Yeah.
evidence is revealed. Makes more and more sense.
I cannot tell you exactly where I found this phoenix, because while we could understand the way it talked, it asked me not to.
Oh,
You
okay.
keep that phoenix's promise.
Yes.
You don't want to break a promise to a phoenix.
But I did
I
not
feel
want
like
to keep
that's really
this
bad luck.
secret. It's not like they could die, so they'll just come back to get you if you break promise to a large, mythical, godlike being.
Sylvia, I really like who you are.
You know,
I do too. Thank you.
despite having what I suspect to be the fewest secrets, you somehow remain the most interesting person that sits at this table, Sylvie.
I agree
Oh.
with that.
Why, thank you. I never think lowly of myself, but I never thought so highly of myself to be the most interesting. All of you have traveled and have come from places that I've never seen. For me, that's far more interesting. Ah, Marcus, welcome back.
Seeing a place.
Sorry, I was 1,000
and
miles away.
I have learned in all the different places I've been that seeing a place and experiencing a place are two vastly different things. You may not have gone far, but where you have gone, I mean, you know more about the surrounding, well, everything really, than most people will know in a full high school career.
I just find the world so interesting in both its natural and its supernatural. I want to know as much as I can about it, its past, its present, and what its future will be. I hope to preserve what has gotten us to this point. I honor how the world was because it got us all here to where we are now. And it can help us learn so that we can go into the direction that we want. Marcus, I have seen a phoenix.
A what?
A phoenix.
Like a literal phoenix? Or because if you happen to know something that can bring folks back from the dead, I'm very curious and interested.
I have to ask its permission to bring you to see it. We stumbled upon an accident through a peyote quest, but I could ask it for you.
Well, I would be very happy to have a chance to meet Phoenix because that is something I will definitely be able to rub in Death's face once I have a chance to speak with it.
Yeah,
So,
speaking of
can you
which,
tell us a little bit about that, huh?
yeah, Mr.
Yeah.
Mystery Man.
Right, we are doing sharing story time, aren't we?
Yes.
So, death is real, by the way. If you were ever in any doubt, I know Naneshka isn't so much. Well, none of you are really. This is more me speaking just to anybody who might be listening at this point. They don't appear in the usual robes or scythe, though it is a gimmick that might make others feel well. But they like to show up and kind of remind me of the futility of my efforts. They feel that they're being altruistic in trying to dissuade me from my pursuits. And I remind them that I will definitely still try my best, and we play Battleship.
Battleship.
It's a whole thing. We don't use a board of pieces, but it's a long, complicated match of wits and will that manifests as battleship.
And how exactly did you get to know Death, if I may ask?
Ah, I've always known death. The clock is part of that, and my pursuit to circumvent that suffering caused me to establish a bit of a rapport with death. Like I said, they're trying to talk me out of what I'm doing, reminding me of the futility of it all.
That's interesting.
They're quite nice once you get to know them, just a bit rambly in the efforts. You kind of come to know exactly what they're after. Hey Marcus, how you doing? By the way, it's futile to try and stop me. I come for everyone. You know, that sort of thing. They do like to lecture me about my drinking.
I don't know if I would describe Death as someone that is like a nice person that I would want to get to know. I feel like your perspective might be a bit warped on that.
That's what I thought too. The first couple years, it was, "Why are you tormenting me, Death? Go away." And then they were just like, "Hey, man, I just have a job to do. It's not my fault that people have to die, but I have to make sure that they do, or else, the consequences will be dire."
That's
Is
Go ahead.
is Death Australian?
I'm sure they've manifested Australian at least once. It was the time
That's a
they
very
showed up as a
different
red panda.
relationship. Oh, they're so cute.
hmm
You know, I feel like your relationship with Death is so different from mine. I
Should I
don't
should I
play
ask them to
bullshit
be
with
nicer to you?
Death is not nice. But Death is not mean. Death is death, and they are neutral.
Exactly.
Yeah, it comes for everyone, and you
Not
can
if I have
stave it
anything
off.
to say about it.
You can stave it off. In the end, we all die. Well,
Don't tell the
Most of us.
vampires that.
yeah.
How
But-
does Death feel about Cassius and Miss Rosewood?
I'm going to have to ask next time. I don't think it's ever come up.
You know, you should ask them if they want to talk to us next time.
I
I've
could
always
make
thought
that
of-
arrangement. We could have a nice
Yeah.
sit down. I mean, at least you and I, Naneshka, can have a conversation with them.
So,
That
have they
seems
ever
doable.
told you why you can see the clocks?
No. Nope. And they've never elaborated on why I can't see my own. Just that some things had to remain mysterious.
Maybe you can see people's clocks because you're meant to bring them some sort of joy before they die. Some sort of comfort.
You might be right, and that kind of makes last night with Jake a little more dour than it should be.
Well,
know.
I mean, only if you think about it that way. I
Try
think
not
that-
to think about it that way.
Yeah, you just gotta appreciate the time that's left rather than, think about the fact that you're about to run out of it. I guess. I mean, I make it sound simple, but I don't know.
Death is simple. It is us who make it complicated.
That's true.
You know, there are people who are taken before their time.
Of course.
Maybe that's what it's trying to warn you about, Jake. Maybe you can stop him being taken before his time.
His clock was not supposed to be where it is now. That's why we've
Then
been
that's
trying
not
to stop it.
Then it would not be interfering with death per se if we were to right his clock. But it does not do you any good to sour over it. Plan to right his clock, but also enjoy your time with him.
I don't know.
Maybe
I
lay
think
off
that
the-
most people have a very perfectionist outlook on life. And I think a lot of people think that at some point they'll be done. I see it a lot in Sylvie and her work. She's never done with it, but everything has a deadline. You just gotta do what you can with the time you have, and what you don't get done, you just don't get done.
You
mood-
both bring up. Oh, go ahead.
Keep going. I was gonna
was-
bring it to an end, but you're.
He was just
Welcome
going to
to-
say, you both have very true and valid points, and Naneshka, I definitely think I am going to throw that one back at them when we show up at that ritual to make sure he doesn't die, on top of everything else. So I'm going to keep that in the back pocket for sure.
Yeah.
The mood in the room. How would you all describe it with one word after this conversation? Anati.
Relieved.
Naneshka.
Open.
Sylvie.
Empathetic.
Marcus.
Clear.
The mood in the room is... It's almost like the bar itself is starting to reflect it, just like it always does. The music that's coming up on the jukebox has a more relaxed and more optimistic undertone to it. You get the happier songs, the party songs. A little bit of Smokey. Might even throw in ABBA for a ride. It's almost like the drinks taste a little bit better. Leia brings around and just a little bit bubblier. Sylvie, you notice you've been here for a lot longer than your usual lunch break, though.
Mm-hmm.
You have a date to attend.
If you all excuse me, I believe I have arranged a date. It's wake up time for our good boy.
Let me know if they also have a penis bone.
Probably not. I do not believe we will get to that point today. I plan on taking him for a ride in my car.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of things can happen in cars.
Sheila's
But
not a convertible, and we are both far too tall.
Very true.
That's a good point.
and then Ishka will look to Anat and say, "This is just excuses. I've had times on my motorcycle, so."
They just need to broaden their horizons. I'm sure they'll figure something out. Go, have fun, enjoy yourself.
Thank you. I have enough time for mascara, I believe.
Yeah,
Says the woman who barely
goodbye.
ever wears any makeup in her life. Like, she leaves.
And when you head back to your studio, you notice the door
Mhm.
is open.
Mhm. Hello?
There you are. Let myself in if you don't mind.
I do mind. I have
I
patio
knocked.
furniture for a reason. And if there is no answer, then I was not there. Ah,
Would you believe me if I
Besides,
said I got worried?
you worry me. Why?
Honestly, the couch just looked a little bit more comfortable than the wicker thing outside. Started without you. He holds up a bottle of bourbon.
Perfect, as I should not have alcohol yet. Shall we go for a ride?
I thought you wanted something about anatomy. Like, research? No?
Of course.
Where are we going?
Huh?
Where are we going?
Probably a little north. There's a lovely stretch of road there, all up to Farmington and back. We listen to music loudly, and we will talk about anatomy.
Zoe, what is
Do you
this?
not want to go for a car? Do you not want to go for a ride? You don't want to go for a ride? Do you want to go for a ride?
Not a golden retriever, you know that, right?
I know. Wait. Oh, I apologize. I did not mean to be presumptuous of that. It's just that so few people actually have the privilege of riding inside of Sheila. She is famous here after all. I figured you would want to experience her at her full potential.
Ask him if he wants to go for walkies.
That is racist. Um,
No,
she
it's
says
because
that
he's a
out
good
loud.
boy.
Speciesist.
Definitely a sex thing,
Right.
not a racist thing.
He's taking a big swig from the bottle of bourbon. You seem flustered. A little bit. A little bit. A little bit flustered. What are we doing? What do you need me for research? Or do you need me
Oh.
for research?
I was simply wanting to get to know you and spend more time to you so that we could possibly start a romantic or sexual relationship in the future. I wish to attempt to court you.
That's new.
You're quite attractive. You're taller
no.
than me, which is very rare.
Fair. I thought... See, in my head, I thought this was going to be some scientific babble. You take measurements, you ask me to change things again, and then we just fuck.
We might not be able to get to that point, as I have not been to the pharmacy in a few months, so I do not have my birth control readily available. But we could do other things.
Let's go for that right then.
Okay. Yeah, no, there's gonna, like, Sylvie is very good at driving this car. This is her second love after dead prehistoric beings. Her daddy gave her this car. Like, and, yeah.
Pino is shaking his head and smiling that crooked half smile, kind of wondering what he got himself into. But he just follows you to the car, hops in.
Just rolls the window down for him, reaches over, rolls the window down for him. It's like, there you go. Feel free to stick your nose out if you get nauseated. And she will start her car up. And see, you know what? The great thing about being so close to being so far out in the desert and, you know, on technically not US soil, there's no cops to catch you for speeding.
And you go for a ride.
Yes.
Whatever else that entails.
Go watch the stars.
Mm-hmm.
Turn around when I get
back,
too close
but
to where the Phoenix is at. What?
Before
Mm-hmm.
before we go into any other greater details, as the car leaves Seer's Rest, Nanati, Naneshka, and Marcus return to their everyday duties. There is a phone call at the Bat Moon Rising. Leia picks up. And she was whistling all day, quite happy. But when she picks up that phone, her face falls. She looks around. Nobody in the bar, and still her eyes are haunted. Her fingers start fidgeting with the dirty apron she wears. Yeah. I told you not to call me here. No, they're here. They were here earlier, yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's her. No, she might be starting to remember. No. Please don't make me do this. I will. I will. Just don't hurt her. And she hangs up. And this is where we end today. We need therapy in this fucking group, my friends.
Don't we? Those are the best kinds
So
of
much.
groups.
The amount of communication that I want to just push into your faces, your characters' faces, in terms of just. But I'm really happy we've had that moment that all four got together and actually talked a little bit about what ails them. I hope so are you. And I hope it was a good run for you guys out there as well. Whew. Let's check in with everyone after this little cliffhanger. Don't do your plugs just yet. We do have a little bit of time. Let's just check in a little bit on where your characters are at the moment. We're kind of at the halfway point today with episode 5. We have 10 episodes, so 5 left. So I want to start with you, Dee, and then just go through when you made Anati and where we are now. Did you see it coming? Was this the plan all along? Are you happy with Anati's progress so far? Or are you a bit worried about our good girl?
I'm definitely happy with the progress that she's made, and this is the path that I designed Anati to sort of walk along, because she's based off of real life inspirations of just that person who flits from place to place and it's like, ah, man, they were great, and they're I don't know, she was designed to be like a passing wind of, oh yeah, that was a great person, why don't we talk to her anymore? And you just sort of like those really great people that you keep in contact with for a relatively short time because something happened and you're not in contact anymore. Anati is a rolling stone that has been anchored to one town, essentially. So it's about what I expected out of her.
And it's funny because I know these kinds of people as well, like the social butterflies.
Mm-hmm.
And the charisma they have, and the way everyone is immediately enamored with them, and then when you think about it, you never actually get to know them.
Right.
I think you play it quite well. I like that. And we'll see if the anchor stays secure, hopefully, or if Anati runs away again. Sylvie and Valdrianth, how are you two doing, and what has Sylvie's journey been like for you? Was it expected? Are you happy that she gets some werewolf love?
Yeah, I tend to make very front story characters when I go into actual plays. And Sylvie is no difference. Like, she does have more background than I would put into that I put into a lot of characters, but she's definitely been moving at a pace and sort of revealing onions, like peeling away the onions of her personality each layer at a time. And I'm sort of discovering who she is around the same time that you all are. Originally, I didn't think of her as so analytical, I suppose, but it just sort of started to happen, and I was like, "Yep, this is who she is now. And I'm gonna roll." Which is just how I approach most characters that I make. But I like her a lot. I like how she interacts with everyone in the Coven, and she has especially after hearing about Nineshka's past and the stuff that she's going through, there's a part of Sylvie that wants to solve that so that her friend is more at peace. And while she's doing other things, there's always something else in the back of Sylvie's mind. It's like, all right, I am doing this sculpture right now, but as I am working with my hands on this sculpture, I have to think about how to fix the problem that could face the Coven, and that problem is these spirits that are not crossing over for Naneshka. And if it's a problem for Naneshka, it's a problem for her. So she's got to fix it.
Okay. Yeah, I can see Sylvia as the classic fixer, the sort of, okay, you need to tell me if you just want to vent or if you want me to do my thing, because that is
If you
problem
want me
solving.
to fix it. Yeah.
And Marcus Rindis, you did accomplish one of the goals that we talked about before, which was, of course, getting with Jake. But how are you seeing our sad boy now, 5 episodes in, halfway through?
He's a lot better than I expected him to be. Because, that goal got accomplished. I do like that there's some foundation for accomplishing his big goal too. Now that Sylvie was like, "Oh yeah, I got high one day and met a phoenix," and he's like, "Wait, what?" And so, that is something that he'll be like, "Is there any way I can use this phoenix to help in my goals? Not use, but have this phoenix help," because he's not a use type, but he's like, can I convince this phoenix to help or impart some knowledge in what he's looking for? Because anything he can do to stick it to death, he will. And so I feel like
Death is very nice.
I think Death is very nice once you get to know him, but he does show up to gloat and tell me that I'm wasting my time. Both of these things are true. Yeah. He hasn't realized that, and he's like, well, I'm still going to try. So I think overall he's just better off than where he started, because the last 2 episodes he's just been like, everybody around me is falling apart and I don't understand why, because I'm having a great time. And so it's just better than he's been the first 3 episodes.
Yeah.
At least he understands why everybody's having a hard time now.
Yes, like I said, that conversation was important and needed to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see where it goes from here and how we can actually fix things, if that's possible. If we can fix Naneshka, although I think at least she had 1 night's sleep, even if it was just maybe a 4-hour thing. But that's getting there. That's getting there. How are you doing, Alyssa, and how are you seeing Naneshka's progress?
I'm doing great. I'm very excited about Naneshka in this game. I didn't really have a full, clear idea of where I wanted them to go. I'm so happy I get to work with you as a guy, because I'm very into making a backstory and important points and improving those in game. It wasn't until this game that she had a brother. It wasn't until this game that I was like, yeah, she's from New York, why not? And I like those things just happening in the moment. She's going very different than the vague idea that I had, because I didn't know what to expect from the game. It is a new system for me, new people that I'm playing with and guide. But it's going so beautiful, and I love it. I like that her past is showing up, but she still has this kind of strong belief that she's done running. She doesn't want to do that anymore. She finally has a home again and a family, and she wants to protect that and not run away like she did first time. And I was really happy to see when we talked. I really wanted to pull in people together again. And when we talked, I realized Naneshka is very similar to many of her coven mates. I feel like her and Anati share a lot of similar backstory, but almost 2 sides of the same coin, where Anati does not remember and Naneshka wishes to forget. And
that's a good way of putting it.
that duality with Marcus of how they both see death differently, and how analytical Sylvie is, and how much more emotional Naneshka is. So I feel like she has this duality with all of her coven mates that I didn't expect, but I absolutely love so much.
It's interesting when you have these themes and you see people approach it so very differently, because that's what people do, right? And especially when you have to work together to protect a town in this case. And seeing last episode, everyone drifting apart into literally complete opposite directions and completely being alone with their problems. I'm like, I want my babies to be happy.
Found family chore, bitches.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously, I'm pretty sure I'm not alone there. And the way I think that came together today worked out quite beautifully. And Eshka in particular kind of stepping up and going a little bit, hey, we need to sort this, was really good to see. I'm very curious to see where all of your stories are going to go over the next few episodes. We will, of course, have a raid at the end of this. I think we're going for Chromatic Chimera today because they're doing a fundraiser for multiple sclerosis. They're playing Quest, which is another wonderful system. Very easy to pick up. Our system, in case someone was wondering, as I mentioned, first time playing. Thanks, Salty, for checking in. Feel free to hop into Discord and check out the socials if you all want to join us again for our other shows. But basically, like I said, we're doing a quick raid for Chromatic Chimera. They're playing Quest. We were playing The Great American Witch. And there's a link in chat. And if you're watching on YouTube, hi, thanks for sticking with us. Underneath, there is a link to the game, which was made by Christopher Gray. It is a Powered by the Apocalypse based game with a few influences of Fate, with a few influences, there we go, of 10 Candles as well. So all of that is coming together here. Check it out. It is easy to pick up. Good lore stuff. Lots of different cultural approaches to witchcraft and the feminine energy in particular, all mashed up, giving you a wonderful playground. Obviously, we will be back next week, but we're also here throughout the week with other shows and other systems, all sponsored by these wonderful people here. So back tomorrow with the Noadan Chronicles at 9 p.m. EST. If you want to catch up with anything we do on YouTube, there's another link in chat right there. We upload all our shows a few days after they air, so that is where you can find us. We also have other projects. Of course, these lovely faces can be found all over Twitch, as they should be, because they're awesome and wonderful role players. So please tell us where we can find you. Let's start with D again and do the same round. D, what are you up to, my friend?
Oh my goodness. I actually have a pretty lax schedule for once in my goddamn life. I will mostly be found over on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/itstheridla. That's LA at the very end. And I am a variety streamer. I do all sorts of things. Most likely you will be able to find me on a Wednesday for a stream that I do with a pair of friends called Dub Club, where we play multiplayer games and we never lose, and we have never lost ever. Actually, we went through Apex Legends, played 10 games, 10 W's. Don't check the VOD. Outside of that, I am a streamer, voice actor, musician. I'm a professional GM with the Emerald City Game Masters Guild, and just recently I have become one of the newest GMs for the Magpie's curated play program. So I am a professional GM over there as well. Our April schedule is going to release here soon, and you'll have the chance to jump into some lovely games of Masks with me as the narrator. So yeah, thank you guys for coming out and watching, and I appreciate you all very dearly.
Amazing stuff. And Sylvie Valdrianth, what are you up to?
Hey everyone, I'm Valdrianth, and you can find me on Twitter and Twitch at that very long, awkward name. I produce CTRPG actual plays for me and my friends over on my channel. Every Wednesday, for this season, we have 2 different Dungeons and Dragons campaigns. I do Dragonstone, where I'm the GM, and then on Wednesday evenings is Revenge of the Gith, where my good friend Rob. We have been at that campaign now for 2 years this month. We just had our 2-year anniversary, and it's been live on Twitch since then. Huge celebration. On that Thursday, my beautiful husband, he GMs Churn and Burn, which is the Expanse RPG. So we have some good sci-fi there. Then on Fridays, we have Lancer, which is a anime mech RPG, where, that's always a good time. And then on Saturdays, we have Dragon Age, where if you like our faces being horny on main, that's where you can see 2 of us. Other than that, just as a reminder, I am only, I think I'm 53 follows away on Twitch to 1K, and when we hit 1K, we will have the deck of many things appear on D&D actual play. So if you haven't followed me yet, and your friends haven't followed me yet, please do it, because I've been at this for like 4 years, and so it's like just happened. Anyway, that's me. Thank you.
Link is in chat right now. Go click it and give them a follow. And Marcus, Party Wipe Games, Rindis. All these names are yours and more. And all the
All these are
RPGs you're
mine.
in. Tell us about them.
Hello, I'm Rindis of Party White Games. You can catch us most days of the week, either here at Leave the Tale or on our own channel, Party White Games. Normally on Tuesdays, we play Vampire the Masquerade. That'll be the next place you can find us, since we are not recording Truthvang tonight. But Mitch did say once we hit the 3rd episode, he'll start releasing those with some great editing, so people can actually see my wonderful Truthvang wizard, who is just a hot mess and realized he'd done a goof last episode. And I'm so happy for people to be able to see that finally. Vampire the Masquerade on Tuesdays. We don't have anything on Wednesdays. Thursday has been on hiatus for several weeks now, and I think we just decided that our Scum and Villainy game is at its natural stopping point, as we've gone weeks and some people have lost interest in playing it. So we're just kind of done. So we're going to figure out what to play next on Thursdays. Friday, we wrapped up the 3-episode stint of Nibiru. I died tragically. It was beautiful, and everyone cried, and it was great because I die a lot in
Fucking
these campaigns.
spoiler
here.
right there.
If you haven't seen it yet, that is your own fault. It was like 2 weeks ago. Do catch it though, because it's a whirlwind of emotions. And Saturdays we play 5th edition Descent into Avernus, and Sundays we play Things from the Flood, and that is just a nightmare for my poor players. There is a content warning for this week's episode because it deals with a lot of stuff, including time travel and murder, and so it's fine. Just teens doing murder. Otherwise, that's me.
And Alyssa, what's Satan up to?
Hi everyone. I'm Melissa, or like our lovely guy said, some people know me as Satan on the internet. But other than here on Mondays with these lovely people, you can find me Thursdays over at Indoor Adventures playing Mask, where I play Luciana, aka Aftershock the Redeemed. You can also find me Saturdays over at Valdrian's channel playing Dragon Age, where we are 100% horny on main. And right after that, you can find me over at Plot Hunters. We're an all POC LGBTQIA+ channel, so if you like supporting those spaces, come watch us. We are nearing the end of our Tyranny of Dragons campaign, and I think after that we might be heading to the Underdark. And Sunday mornings, you can find me over at the Hype Goblin, where I DM for my friends. It's a very homebrew, very mostly rule of cool it D&D game that I do for my friends. They're in a very scary island. They just reawaken a Titan, so that's interesting. And right after, not right after that, but at the end of Sunday at 10 o'clock EST, you can find me again at Indoor Adventures playing Rime with the Frost Maiden, where I play my buff fighter babe Kuori. She's 100% beef, and I love her. Other than that, you can find me on Twitter at AlysaVamp. I also do art. I do overlay work. I do character bust, all the TTRPG overlays that you'll see on the Hype Goblin, which you should follow them. They're amazing. It's done by me. So if you're ever in need of that kind of work, hit me up.
And I'm Lydia. I'm half-arsed hermit, mostly here on Weave the Tale behind the scenes. I GM this game, of course. I'll be back next week. I'm also guesting on the Saturday game of Fate of Cthulhu, where I can also get into some time-traveling murder. Yay! Yeah, that's gonna be great. But also on Colonomicon's channel every other Friday for the GM Postmortem. We're actually having Kate Bullock on next week, so some Magpie game overlay there. We had Jonathan Fry, we also had Chris on here from Great American Witch, so it's always fun talking to GMs and game developers about all the good stuff that we love to do in our free time. Twitter is usually where I announce all other new projects, so you can give me a follow if you want to know where I am, other than drinking and then hungover, as is the eternal cycle, and I'm going to continue that cycle now. So you head over to Chromatic Chimera and throw some donations at their fundraiser, please, and then we'll see you again next week. Thank you everyone for watching. Leave us a comment on YouTube, let us know how you enjoyed it, and goodbye.
These are the tales we weave. Tales of magic. Tales of mystery. Tales exploring the beyond. And while we continue to grow, even more adventures await. In the depths of the unknown. Will you join us in the telling?